Hey everyone, a quick note before we start. I've re-uploaded our first two shows and labeled them 1 and 2 instead of having them as 0 and 1. I figured since we're now on iTunes, our numbering of the episodes of Twin Peaks should align with their listing. So, from here on out, let us never speak of this numbering confusion again. And I want to say a special thanks to Scott Spencer for providing this intro that he apparently made in the Red Room.
Hello, welcome to the Twin Peaks Podcast. This is the waiting room. Would you like some coffee?
She's dead, wrapped in plastic.
Welcome to the Twin Peaks Podcast.
Damn good coffee. And hot. Would everyone please take a seat?
Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Twin Peaks Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Caitlin.
I'm Alirio.
Our guest, yay!
Yay, we have a guest. Alirio is one of the co-hosts of the Potentialcast, which was a big inspiration for this podcast. I really like the way they have people on their show who are first-time viewers. All right, so Alirio, where are you from?
I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Melanie, you have family in Quebec, don't you?
Yes.
Your
They're
aunt?
not originally from Quebec, though.
Oh, well, they're there now. They're in Montreal, right?
They're living in Montreal.
What's their last names?
Outside Vienno.
You know the Viennos, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
They are my neighbors over here.
A little bit of news, I guess. We haven't really done news before, but there's a Twin Peaks fan edit out called Northwest Passage. Have you heard of that, Alirio?
I have not, but I am intrigued.
Northwest Passage, which is the show's original title. Somebody took that title and did a fan edit of the entire series. They cut out everything that wasn't important to the main story of the Laura Palmer murder. They took the series down from 900 minutes to 300 minutes, and it's much more condensed and tight story. I haven't watched it, but it sounds interesting. So
no more Invitation to Love?
I would imagine not. Apparently some characters barely even show up because they're not connected to the murder mystery, which I won't say who they are, just so we don't rule anyone out. And
Wow.
I know, this is so weird for me. I gotta watch out for spoiling people. I'm usually on the other side of the glass.
the Buffy podcast, yeah.
So lost, so confused.
No. It's like, okay, I can't mention this person or that person.
Shut
so
up,
I'm glad
up.
I just watched the episode
Yeah.
this evening, so it's all very fresh in my mind. Like that baguette must have been after 9 hours on a plane.
So wrong.
Not fresh.
Yeah,
Now, what's wrong is that not fresh bread products are going to remind you of 2 girls down by the lake. That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, one more thing.
There.
Have you guys heard of The Killing on AMC?
You mean the Twin Peaks ripoff?
Yeah. Well, I looked up
No, it's
I looked
not
up,
a ripoff. I started watching the first episode because it was free to download.
Oh, was it?
The first 2 hours are free to download.
Yeah, they're doing marathons and stuff. They're trying to get people.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. From what I understand, it's pretty compelling. So
Yeah. Well, I read a synopsis of it, and it's called, they said it's an atmospheric, slow-burning thriller about the murder of a teenage girl in Washington State. What does that remind you of?
Wow.
yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so you guys want to get into the episode itself?
Indubitably.
Let's do it.
All right, so anyone want to start off?
Albert Rosenfield is awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, and he made RoboCop.
Spoilers.
And RoboCop killed Laura Palmer.
Oh, wait a second. Let's pretend we're on Twitter. I'd buy that for $1. Because, anytime you mention RoboCop...
Yeah.
Who did he play in RoboCop again? I don't remember.
He played an evil scientist dude, I think.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. It was his plan was RoboCop, and the other guy was the other robot.
Has anyone read any his IMDb trivia page?
No, I have not.
No.
So, does anyone know who he's related to in real life?
Isn't he Rosemary Clooney's son?
Right, yeah. Yeah, he's George Clooney's cousin.
He's George Clooney's cousin.
Yep.
Right.
Ah.
So, the Horn family dinner, what'd you guys think of that one?
I love how it starts. It's so long and awkward.
Yeah. The 35 Years of David Lynch blog, which is a really good blog to read if you've seen the series, but they mention episode 2 opens on a static shot of the Horn family at dinner with the opening credits playing over the silence at the table. In this simple extended shot, Lynch reveals a lot about the tension and apathy in the Horn family. I can see that. It is a tense scene.
Yeah. I kept thinking I would figure out what Johnny was humming. I was like, oh, wait. No.
Anyone?
One more note.
Yeah.
So, yeah, David Patrick Kelly comes in.
I love he's got the full bow tie and suspenders and the crowd sandwiches.
Yes, and more horrible 90s hair.
Oh, mansies.
He also
Hair. That overcoat was horrible 90s.
he has some excellent sunglasses as well.
That's true.
Mm.
What's up with they have such an intense relationship with food.
Yeah.
Did you guys, both the brothers, and Foodgasm, yeah, and two, like, I noticed that their names combined, Ben and Jerry,
Ah. Does anybody watch How I Met Your Mother?
Nope.
No.
I've seen a couple
I've heard
episodes.
a lot about it.
Often there's scenes where Ted and Marshall, two of the characters, are talking about their days in college, and they refer to sometimes as eating sandwiches, and the eating sandwiches is when they're actually smoking weed. And so that's exactly what I thought of when I saw them, like, having their foodgasms with these sandwiches.
Does bread, butter, and cheese qualify as a sandwich, though?
Yes.
It does?
Yeah.
When it's fresh baked baguette, real brie made with non-pasteurized milk, and real butter made with non-pasteurized milk, it is the most amazing thing. Like, have any of you here ever had non-pasteurized milk products?
I don't know.
Not
The
sure.
taste is amazing. like when you go to a country like France and you actually have butter on bread, you could live off that. It's
Could you
so
live off-
savory and delicious.
Could you live off of it after 9 hours stuffed in your luggage with your laundry?
Well, notice it was wrapped in wax paper, which, as we all know, the world's greatest invention.
Yeah, it's the greatest buffer in the world.
People say refrigeration is. I don't think so. I think wax paper will do you.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is just an odd thing that I noticed. Ben eats his sandwich from the side instead of from the end. What a weirdo.
Kind of like, what do you call them? Those flutes.
He plays it. He eats it like a flute.
Yeah,
He's
those
playing
side
the flute.
flutes, whatever you call them there.
I think they're just called flutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the French word for them, but
Flute traversière.
yeah, exactly. I just couldn't think of
Which-
the English word.
To do a little bit of linguistic archaeology might sound like, fairy flute.
Yeah.
Like fairy on the water flute,
Yeah.
which is very odd. But yeah, I did notice he ate a sandwich that way, but I think it's because he saw the little bit of cheese poking out.
Just drew him in.
Yep, absolutely. The shock and awe on Mrs. Horn's when Ben encouraged Jerry was just. And then we had some more, screaming later on in a scene from someone's wife, and I'm wondering if this is something we'll see a lot.
There's a lot of angry women in this show.
Yeah, there are.
So then they cross over to Canada in their speedboat.
That's how I came to Canada.
That's a good plan.
No. I didn't have to take a speedboat.
I need to get a speedboat, damn it.
You're completely outnumbered here, Brad. I almost called you Brand.
It's my secret plan. I'm gonna blend in, like surround myself with enough Canadians, and then I'll just cross the border and never look back.
All those guns, though, are gonna probably make you stand out.
That's true.
We'll probably just be friendly and ask you to register them.
On the subject of Canada, even the Canadian prostitutes are better. By far more attractive than any prostitutes I see around here.
So Cooper finally finished whittling whatever he was whittling, and it turned out to be a flute.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we skipping over Bobby and Mike meeting up with Leo?
I don't know. Is that?
That's after, I think.
Yeah, that's a little bit after.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was
later.
before we saw Cooper.
Yeah, because at first it was they went.
Oh yeah, it was all the whoring.
The whoring.
And
the whoring, and then it was the dinner at the Haywards.
Was it Shakespeare at Blackie?
Yeah.
He was quoting poetry at Blackie, and
then there
and we did skip dinner at the Haywards, right?
With the extremely slow wheelchair.
Yeah. It took her like 30 seconds to leave the room after she announced that she was going to bed.
Yes. Yes, it did.
I'm going. Almost there.
Batteries are low.
They were very low.
My daughters will be famous. And beautiful.
Yeah, we're jumping all around now. Cooper talks to Hawk on the phone. Hawk mentions a suspicious one-armed man.
A one-armed man?
Is he suspicious because he has one arm, or?
I think he was acting a little bit weird, too.
He was.
He's a little suspicious. I don't think you trust people with disabilities. Which is wrong.
Crippled and crime start with the same 3 letters.
That's true.
Think about it.
It's an astute observation.
Thank you.
Didn't he like step in a room and disappear?
Kinda,
yeah. It's like they didn't.
Quite suspicious.
Did he really disappear, or was the cop just really doing a bad job at following him?
I think so.
I'm afraid Hawk might just be playing up his whole stereotype.
Oh yeah, he can drop into
let him
his...
get away with really bad tailing of people because they're like, they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be accused of being racist. But maybe Hawk, he ain't no tracker.
Yeah. But
Hawk was pretty much right behind him, and he heard a door close and didn't follow him. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a door too
the eyes of
far.
a hawk, not the ears of a hawk. Right?
But he can he seems to be able to drop into the stereotype mode whenever he wants. Like he was talking to Cooper on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, I was checking out this mysterious one-armed man," and then Cooper's like, "How's Ronette? Body and spirit are still far apart."
That was an awesome line.
Horrible.
Yeah, it is a horrible stereotype.
But isn't his name also? Isn't his nickname Hawk? I think I saw this on the IMDb. His character is Tommy Hawk. That's horrible.
Tommy Hawk?
David yeah, I just got it.
Racist David Lynch. I hope you're listening. You're racist, David Lynch. I'm saying right then and there. His character's name was Tommy Hawk.
It's horrible.
And was his last name Chop?
So who do you guys think left the note, the Jack with one eye note?
I know, but I'm not saying.
My guess is that it was one of the Horns, either Mrs. Horn or Audrey Horn.
My guess is one of the whores.
That's what I thought. Caitlin
Audrey
said.
Whore or Mrs. Whore.
Exactly. Or possibly some horrific racial stereotype.
I'm gonna go back to the Hayward's dinner and say that Donna always has the same catchphrase. Oh, James.
James.
Aw, James.
I say that a lot too, yeah. Oh,
Aw,
James.
James is by far the purest distillation and personification of a wet blanket ever. I refuse to believe he's a biker in any stretch of the imagination.
Brad, I don't think what you're feeling is wrong. Because it's the truth. And you would have wound up saying it anyway.
I'm so pained right now.
Look at my pouty lips. And my sunken cheekbones.
Oh, guys.
Well, you had a good suggestion for the name of our podcast, didn't you, Alirio?
What was it? I forgot.
Oh, you forgot? On the Potentialcast Facebook group, you wrote it should be called James is a Douche Cast.
Yes. Yes, it should. Thank you for reminding me. James is all right. My James hate comes much later.
Yeah.
I guess.
When he displays what I would call, and I don't think this is being spoilery, astounding amounts of stupid. That's
And
all
we're not even there yet.
You're not even there.
Wow.
You can't wait.
The word "wow" will become meaningless.
Then we get Bill and Ted's bogus drug deal.
Did you bring
Yeah.
Switchblade?
Yeah, he brought a knife to a gunfight. Come on, Mike, you're so out of it.
Did you bring it? The one knife. The one knife we could get our hands on.
It was weird. There was some creepy guy in the woods.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who do you think's behind the tree?
I want to know if Leo was just ignoring him or he thought that Bobby was trying to pull something on him. Because I don't think, because it seemed to me like he was ignoring him. I don't think that Leo actually knew this dude.
Just guy looking for action in the woods.
Yes. Such as the one-armed man. Or maybe...
I'm saying it's Dr. Crazy Town.
Yes, that was my other guess.
Crazy Town.
Just lurking.
Leo opens up about his marital problems to some teenagers he's just drugs to.
You want problems? You're on the road, driving back and forth for days. You come home and you find out your wife's been giving it away. How does he know she's not charging? Because that's a terribly sexist, assumption. What she could be making money for herself, being an independent woman.
Then she would probably buy walls for her house.
Do you guys think that Leo knows that Bobby's the culprit?
It seems so.
It did seem so.
You don't think he'd just blow him away if he knew?
Well, I mean, he needs that other $10,000 for that small bag
Yeah.
of cocaine, so...
Hey, you go back and look through all the cocaine price indexes from the 90s and tell me that wasn't worth $10,000.
I mean, I don't know what the price of cocaine is, but that doesn't seem like a lot. If that's half...
So then they were forced to play football at gunpoint.
Yeah, I love it. Now, were they playing 4 down or 3 down football? I know someone went for a rouge.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a sports person at all. That's probably sacrilegious to our American friend.
I've never watched a sport in my life.
Never watched a single sport ever?
A sport.
Never.
What?
I'm the only quasi-sporty guy here?
I guess so.
Crickets.
I attempted to watch a basketball game once when I was in the 4th grade.
How'd that go?
I made it about 10 minutes.
Wow, that's not bad.
I like sports though. I just don't really watch them, but I do like them.
You like to play him.
Like, have them in the background?
I used to love
Music?
hockey.
What was the threat of throwing the football at the car?
Maybe it had a grenade in it and it just didn't go off.
I think it's just a last minute thing to scare them.
Oh no, there's a de-inflated football on the roof of our car. I'm scared.
No, I think it was Leo saying, no matter where you are, I can get you.
With the football.
Well, he's showing up the quarterback. I mean, Bobby's supposed to be the quarterback, right? So it's this whole, you think you're so hot, I can hit your car from over here.
In the dark.
In the dark. Booyah!
It sounded like it came from it looked like it came from the opposite way where Leo was standing. So it's like he can throw boomerang football or something. I don't know.
Well, it was half deflated, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Aerodynamically speaking, that is possible.
Could be.
Is anyone else expecting Leo to call his gun his boomstick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've felt many times that what Twin Peaks really lacked was a little bit of Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
I could see that working.
I think Cooper is Bruce Campbell though.
Hmm.
He kind
can
of is
see
the
it.
same kind of, yeah. He's the same kind of dreaminess. Pardon me.
The
but-
chin is definitely in play.
I'm gonna be a little controversial at this point.
Oh.
On this episode, I'm not a big fan of Cooper right now.
Oh, really?
Well, I feel like he hasn't really done anything except be a plot device. And I feel like I either want him to either be a solid, and which everything else in the show is revolving around him, or I want him to start having some major complications.
That would be kind of hard though, wouldn't it? Because there's so many characters in the show that it would be hard for the show to revolve just around him.
But I feel like right now he's not really serving much of a purpose except to further the plot.
Someone's got to do it. What do you think, Alirio?
Yeah, I didn't feel that way when I originally watched the show. I think I was enamored with Cooper's character and the quirkiness. I remember the first time I saw the whole throwing the rocks at the bottle thing, I remembered feeling kind of amazement and also extraordinary puzzlement as to they're putting this in a TV show about crime. The one scene in this episode that really makes me, at the same time, do a WTF about Cooper, but also kind of fall in love with him more, is when he warns Harry that Albert isn't really up on the social niceties, puts his hand on Harry's shoulder. Harry looks over at the hand, and Cooper squeezes his nose with a little honk honk. And I was like, what the hell just happened there?
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was like, oh my god, he's a big kid.
Yeah.
This is what he is. He's this child, and life to him is this amazing, wonderful, fun. It's like we look out into the world and we see murder and rape and theft and drug dealings and guns and half-inflated footballs. And Cooper looks out into the world and he sees a giant IKEA ball pen. And he's just having the time of his life, rolling around and jumping in those bacteria-infested balls.
Nice. I feel like he's really likable and charismatic, but I just feel like he's not being used well.
So he hasn't yet displayed usefulness?
Not to the plot, really. I mean, other than to the plot.
Yeah.
I think his crime-solving ways just seem really passive. You know, he's relying really on sort of his thought processes, and maybe even, I can't really tell if this is supposed to be like paranormal yet or not, or just his dream, his mind. It's hard for me to tell. But yeah, it's pretty passive the way he's going about it so far.
I think that always makes for the most interesting character as a detective, is when they're passive, because then they're just like, you don't expect.
Like Columbo.
Yeah, exactly.
Columbo was my favorite.
Yeah,
because he'd ask some innocuous, annoying questions, and William Shatner would always get really annoyed. And he'd be on his way, and you'd kind of feel William Shatner start to relax. Then he was like, "Oh, one more thing."
Yeah.
And then he'd ask the killer question, right?
Exactly.
The biggie. And so there's this kind of passive, everything's cool, everything's all right, don't mind me, I'm whittling, doo-doo-doo. And I can totally see that.
I've got another quote here, kind of about that, from the 35 Years of David Lynch blog. It says, while not insulting or downplaying the importance of deductive reasoning and more conventional investigative techniques, Agent Cooper apparently trusts in his subconscious mind more than any other Holmesian detective in fiction. Sherlock Holmes tends to downplay intuition in favor of cold rationality, but Agent Cooper is a man who's willing to follow down inductive paths of reasoning after deduction takes him as far as it can go. I thought that was pretty good too.
And I would be more okay with that if everyone else was willing to question him.
They just accept it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's the big FBI man from the city.
Mm-hmm.
They're just country bumpkins.
Yeah, but when they're out in the field and he's doing the whole throwing the stones at the bottle, and the sheriff comes up to him and pulls him aside and says, "This all came from a dream?" That's the wrong question. The question is, what are you doing, and why?
Oh.
Yeah.
Brad, I think you just have to believe.
I mean, I'll grant for the sake of a television show, we can go down these roads and he can have, weird intuitive powers. But it bothers me that no one else.
You think they should be more critical of him until he produces results?
I would think so. I would hope so.
I think
there is a murder investigation going on.
Is there really?
Well, there's barely a murder investigation, but there's definitely no investigation about the other girl at all.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I don't know, I kind of get the feeling maybe, they're just seeing what he's got. Like, this is different for them, but maybe he has something here because we've never seen this type of thing before, so let's just go with the flow. That's
They're
what I
just
get.
being who they are. They're being open-minded and non-judgmental.
Totally.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Anyone else got something?
Oh, yes. A wall of ceramic figurines.
Oh, I didn't notice it.
How could you not notice Nadine's wall?
There were so many.
You could never live in that house, ever.
Oh, no.
What did you think?
Is it because they stare at you?
Unfeeling eyes.
Oh, they just disturb me so much.
They're cold ceramic eyes.
They're useless little ceramic eyes.
What did you think of the scene with Nadine and her drape runner insanity in the grease gun?
She strikes me as being a little bipolar.
A little?
Or a lot, yes. And she has the strength of a beast.
Yeah.
She hulked out.
Yes, she did.
Do you guys think that Ed might be a little bit scared of her? That's why he's staying with her?
Too scared to leave.
Too scared to leave, yeah.
Well, I think Ed is Shelley. I think Ed and Shelley are exactly the same situation.
And does he not have a sink in his garage?
Hey now, don't judge the people who are in the country now.
Real men don't need sinks in garages.
Yeah, what if you drop a jumper cable in there by accident or something?
Yes, or a toaster. They toast things in garages, don't they?
They must.
Then it's settled.
Moving back a little bit, we skipped over Bobby's scene with Shelley. Do you, when he found out she's been beaten, and he kind of vows that he'll protect her, but do you think he would actually stand up to Leo if he had to?
I love how he was very, very precise. If he ever does this to you again,
Yeah.
I'll kill him.
I'll let it go this time.
I'll let it fly this time. But if he does this to you again, I'm going to get him.
Do you guys think he would protect her, or is he a coward?
There's not a chance. There's not a chance.
I was gonna ask Brad if you still love Bobby.
I don't love him, but I have respect. I
Oh,
have
but that's
respect
what I mean. That's what I meant.
until I see him slacking. But I
Oh.
will say, I do have to question, when he comes to the door to see Shelley, he's like, we've got at least 20 minutes. Really, Dad?
That's cutting it close.
Really? 20 minutes?
Yeah, the guy was pointing a gun at you the night before.
Hey, the guy's girlfriend just died. He's got to go somewhere.
Speaking of Leo, the bottle broke when they mentioned his name. Do you think that means anything?
Surely.
It must.
If not, then that whole, hawk in oven mitts was wasted.
Yeah. Which really, I have to say, I feel like it was just a really weird excuse to catch everyone up on who the characters were and what was going on.
You know what? Excellent form of exposition.
Because we had little cutaways. James, little image.
It also struck the bottle in Jacoby's name, but it just bounced off, right?
This is true. You see how awesomely happy Lucy was when he broke the bottle?
Yes, and I know why.
I know why too.
You go ahead.
I did a little research. Apparently, that was the first take of him throwing
Nice.
the rock at the bottle, and she couldn't contain her excitement at his success. So
He's that
They just-
good.
Well, the shot, you actually see the rock leave his arm and travel all the way to the bottle and smash it in that one shot.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they edit.
my favorite is the one that hit Andy.
Yeah. Smack. Yeah, that's when they mentioned Shelley's name, it hit Andy. For Johnny Horn, it hit the garbage pail.
What was that joke that the sheriff was making to Andy after it hit him? He's like, well, there's no sense, there's no feeling, Andy. Ha ha ha. I had no idea what they were laughing at.
That was
Well,
horrible.
If he has no sense in his brain, then he can't have much feeling in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a jab at Andy.
We're calling him stupid.
That was not nice.
It's kind of out of character for the sheriff because he's usually a fierce defender of Andy.
Probably
you can tell he loves Andy when he says that.
it's an inside joke.
I think it's brotherly teasing, and it's not very. I don't think it was mean spirited.
Or maybe he knew that at that very moment Andy had no brain power, so he could make fun of him until he regained his brain power.
Because it was knocked out.
Because it was knocked out of him. Yeah.
He'll never remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't he only reach his brain power when he gets hit in the head a second time? That's what the Flintstones taught me.
Yeah, it's true. Alright, so there's another zombie dance.
Oh, yes. At the coffee shop.
Showing off the zombie dance for the townfolk this time.
I like
Yeah, I have no comment that wouldn't be absolutely just me drooling over Charlotte Fenn, so I approve the zombie dance.
She was giving Donna the eyes. I don't know what that meant.
I don't know what it meant. I appreciated it.
Agreed.
Do you think she likes coffee, or is she just drinking it because Cooper likes coffee?
Agent Cooper loves coffee.
Maybe everyone in the town just likes
Rubbing
coffee.
her finger around the rim, maybe she was hoping it was one of the mugs that he had used when he's...
Just picking up his DNA
she hopes she can get pregnant with his child, carry on his
from
legacy.
the coffee.
Yes. she's very ignorant.
It's a simple town.
Yes.
Do you think she's suspicious of her father in any way? She asked Donna. What did she ask Donna specifically?
Laura ever talk about my father?
Yeah, that's it. What do you think she's?
Right, because he used to sing to her.
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving sonnets to the prostitutes. He's singing to Laura Palmer. This guy's the worst,
He truly is. He gets around, that's for sure.
and in really cheesy ways.
I don't think he has a respect for anybody but maybe his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Anyway.
So I think we should start keeping tabs on everything that Cooper says after he declares, "Damn good coffee." And hot was this time.
Yeah.
It's because he spat it out, and I'm like, okay, either there was a fish in the percolator, or it was just too hot.
But it was still good.
Like Tim Hortons coffee, it's too hot. I have to wait a half hour before I can drink it. Terrible.
I spilled some McDonald's coffee all over my hands the other day. Ouch.
Oh, ka-ching!
Yeah. But I can't because there's a warning right on it.
Mm-mm. But if you're illiterate, that doesn't count. Ka-ching!
Right.
Was there a pictogram?
I don't think so.
They should verbally tell people when they give you the coffee.
Yeah.
This is
Like
hot.
when I for my kids. Nicholas, pay attention. No, stop. Pay attention. This is hot, okay? It hurt you. And then invariably,
We get the introduction of, we mentioned him earlier, of Albert Rosenfield. What does everyone think of him?
He gives me a Men in Black vibe.
Yeah.
It's true. Without the sunglasses.
Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, he's definitely Will Smith. I mean, clearly.
You guys like his character? Or
I do, yeah.
yeah.
I have the same respect for him I have for Bobby. He's industrious and getting things done.
well, he's not impressed with Twin Peaks, that's for sure.
No.
What should he be?
Well, Cooper is. Cooper loves Twin Peaks.
Well, that's because they let him play his fanciful little magic games.
It's
No one
true.
questions it.
Hey guys, what do you think if instead of going out and looking for clues,
We learn about
play
Tibet.
charades and
Yeah,
see what happens?
Here's what I need you to do, guys. I need you to get about 60 donuts, set them out. We're gonna go out into the woods. I'm gonna throw rocks at a bottle. We're gonna bring out a chalkboard. It's gonna take like a huge van, but just go with me on this.
Need a giant map of Asia.
I found it odd that Cooper was smiling through the entire scene when Albert was
No.
was just bashing Twin Peaks and
I loved it.
Harry was getting mad at Albert and Cooper was just smiling through the whole thing like he didn't know what was going on.
I love his smile. He's got such an intense
It was
way
like,
about him.
wow, you see how awesome Albert is?
Yeah.
Isn't he great? Isn't just tops?
Yeah, Cooper finds Albert amusing. Nobody else does. But and then we get thumbs up number 2. I'm starting to keep count of the thumbs up in the series. That was thumbs up.
Thumb watch?
When was the first one?
The first one was in the pilot episode when they're in the truck. One of the shots in the truck, they were about to do something, about to go, and Cooper gives a thumbs up. There's a bunch of them in the series, but I laugh every time it happens.
Because it's
This
such
was the one in this episode. This was for the him threatening Albert, right?
Yeah.
It was just after Albert left.
Yeah. What is he? He said something like, if anybody else talked to me like that, they'd be looking for their teeth on Queer Street.
Yeah.
Halfway up Queer Street.
Is that an actual
That's right.
street, or was he...
Yeah, it's either a really insensitive statement, or this is an incredibly bold and progressive town.
Interestingly, that's where they have the Martin Luther King Jr. parade every year.
So it's a little of both.
So Catherine and Pete, they have separate rooms.
Pete is also Shelley.
Except I think Pete is starting to show a little more cunning. He may be a little absent-minded, but I think he's
You
also...
mean like Baldrick?
Like who?
Baldrick? Sorry, it's a Blackadder reference. Anyone?
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyone? No? Sorry.
definitely.
I saw one episode.
I saw one or two.
I've seen them all repeatedly.
Oh, that's why.
But he always has a cunning plan. Yeah, he does seem to be a little bit more on the, oh yeah, you think you're gonna... But who put the fish in the percolator? Is he accusing Catherine?
I think so, yes.
It sounded like he was a little bit accusatory in his tone.
And then
She's just that passive-aggressive.
She's pretty aggressive. Go to your room!
Get your boots off my bed and go to your room!
He knew just how to push her buttons.
But he's helping Josie out with these ledgers and things, and I've seen the series 2 or 3 times, and I'm still confused about that whole plot line. It gets more confusing as we go. But good.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. What are they trying?
I take it that there's two books in there.
Yeah.
So I assume there's just the the standard the real books and then the fake books.
Yeah, but what are they doing with them?
Well, the real books you'd keep to follow how you're embezzling.
Mm-hmm.
The false books you'd represent losses of money, so that you could, in fact, present good books or bad books to whoever comes auditing you.
I suppose.
But you never leave both sets of books out in the open.
No.
I still find it super weird that they all live in that one house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's big enough.
In my mind, the house is huge, so they probably have wings.
Yeah. So, Leland and Sarah Palmer's house? Leland seems to be becoming the insane one now.
Yeah, they've switched roles a little
He's
bit.
lost it.
Yeah.
We have to dance.
He's not coping well.
No.
It's
It's
kind of
bad mojo in that house.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how he was so composed compared to Sarah, and then
Switch.
Now, it's sort of switching now.
Denial is a powerful thing.
Every time Sarah Palmer gets upset, she holds her head like it's going to explode.
And it looks like it does. She has the world's greatest head of hair. And she was almost George Costanza's mother-in-law.
Oh, really?
She was, in fact, his mother-in-law. Did he marry
real life?
Susan? Or did she die before? No, on the show.
She died before.
On the show.
Yeah, he didn't get to marry.
Interesting trivia. I don't know if you mentioned this already or not, because I have horrible recollection from podcasts sometimes. But did you mention that, in fact, Laura Palmer's mom played Susan's mother, and in fact, Donna's dad played Susan's dad on Seinfeld.
I didn't know that one, though.
I had
They played Susan's mother and father.
I didn't even remember them.
Nice.
That's cool. Now I'm gonna have to go rewatch those episodes.
And you can actually see them, of course, in the finale episode where they're on trial.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Everyone comes back.
Show. Well, I'd like to talk about the fact that he's trying to dance with a picture.
Mm-hmm.
He's flipping out. She's screaming, the phone's ringing. Who was calling Leland?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to give him a job and he missed his chance. I don't know.
I don't know.
Could be anybody really.
I mean, he's getting all weird with the blood. And
He needs to get back to work and get his mind off something.
How long has it been since the murder now?
It's only
a couple of days.
Yeah, it's
not
only
in the ground yet.
Yeah, there's not even no funeral yet.
I don't think it's spoilery to say I can't wait to watch the funeral again.
Yeah, obviously there will be a funeral. That's not too spoilery.
So is the perfume counter job a direct underground railroad to prostitution?
Ah, yes.
Interesting mixed metaphor.
Because there was that comment that the
In fact,
horn guy
it
made.
does go from the United States to Canada, doesn't it?
Yeah, because they say the new girl is straight from the perfume counter,
Mhm.
and we know the girl in the hospital, Ronette, she worked the perfume counter.
Right.
Yeah, well, it could have that could have been taken directly or not so literally because he said freshly scented from the perfume counter. So
They just had her walk through that department before she came to the one at Jack's.
It's a really sketchy mall.
Send her walking through the perfume department and then put her on the speedboat.
Speedboat.
I feel like I have a horrible accent when I say boat. When I don't think about it. About it. Damn it.
Rain in Spain falls mostly in Mississauga.
I'm gonna go back to Albert. I really like the shot of Albert when he was kind of being condescending to everybody. There was a shot looking up at him. It made you feel like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, he's a commander.
Also, did you guys notice the book Lucy was reading?
Yes, I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah.
Tibet.
Good work, prop guys. Blank cover with just the word Tibet right in the center.
Yeah.
And is it just... Am I the only one that thought that the false bookcase was weird? That in fact only the top half
Yes.
moved away from the wall and the bottom half actually stayed there with books on it?
You should have the super recessed bottom half of your bookshelf.
I know. I guess it would be too heavy to turn otherwise.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, if Cooper pulled that nose thing on me, I would punch him in the face
Really?
immediately.
You wouldn't find it endearing.
I would do that too, because every time I do it to her, her nose starts running and she hits me. I don't stop doing it though. Well, I mean, I'm not there doing it repeatedly over a short period of time. It's just every once in a while, just be inspired. No, squeeze your nose. Brad, if you want to come up to Canada, there's a price you're gonna have to pay.
Freedom isn't free at all.
And we squeeze the noses.
Freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't free. I'm going to Sweden.
Nice. They really love death metal there.
Back to Nadine and Ed. When we saw her in her Hulk moment earlier, like bend her exercise machine, I was so surprised that when she did her running tackle hug on Ed that she didn't like knock him over or something.
Yeah.
I was expecting that as well.
But when she started hugging him, he looked like he was being crushed.
Yeah, he looked uncomfortable, to say the least.
You're gonna break me.
Hulk strength, no!
Anything else?
That's all I have.
That's all you got?
I think so.
Talk about the midget.
Okay.
Talk about the midget. Well, we shouldn't say midget. We should say
Why not?
vertically challenged.
Yeah.
That
Midget's
seems so much more
not-
offensive to me.
It's not politically correct, though.
It's not like he has a hard time getting up in the morning.
I don't know.
Well,
I can't be vertical.
what's the correct word again?
It's. I think nowadays they say little person. Actually.
Little person.
Yeah.
But there's a distinction between little person and a dwarf.
Dwarf,
Because you
I
can
know.
be a dwarf. I think he's a dwarf.
Oh, I thought little person was dwarf. I don't know.
No, there's
No,
No.
there's a height distinction, and you can actually suffer from dwarfism,
Yeah, there's.
which is different from.
I think legally.
There's a whole CSI episode where they discuss that.
I think legally, if you're under 4'10", you're legally a midget, and then dwarfism is a separate thing.
I mean, you're legally a little person.
Legally a little person.
Legally.
I don't know.
You racist.
What?
They're
they're not a separate race just because they're dwarves.
I'm the racist.
I think Tolkien would disagree with you. I believe dwarves are a distinct race.
And David Lynch hates them.
I didn't get that impression.
No. Because he hates the Native Americans and the cripple. I just assume.
No, I think this is his one redeeming quality. He
Okay.
doesn't mind the dwarves. By the way, it is dwarves and not dwarfs.
Okay, so why do you think Cooper is old in his dream?
When I first saw that scene, I didn't think he looked old. I thought he looked weird. When I was watching it when it originally aired, when I was in my late years of high school, or as they say here, secondary school, it was, I just thought he looked weird. I didn't automatically think he looked old.
It just looks like dry skin.
He'd been pruned in the bathtub.
Yeah.
He was in some kind of demon dimension and he didn't get to the moisturizing phase.
There's a really bad makeup job.
That was not a good makeup job, and I have the episodes in HD. Doesn't mean they're in widescreen. It means they're in high definition.
So you can see
Don't bother buying it because you see all this stuff. It's cool, but it's also kind of that looks really terrible.
Can you see the makeup caking on his neck?
No, but you can totally see the motorcycle reflected in the video when you have the episode in HD.
So what did you guys think of the poem that the one-armed man said?
We have a title for the prequel.
I feel like it was...
Should
I wanted there to be more in it. Like, I feel like it was... I liked it, and I think it served its purpose, but I feel like it was a lot of nonsense to sound cooler than useful.
Mel has it written down. You want to recite it, Mel?
Should I recite it to refresh your memories?
Do it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna recite it as creepily as Mike did.
But why?
Well, I don't know if I can do it. Okay, here I go. Through the darkness of future past, the magicians long to see one chance out between two worlds. Fire, walk with me.
A little bit of spoken word action. Yeah, I totally dug this when I first watched it, and I was a teenager, and I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest show ever! It's so creepy, and it's so awesome, and it's so meta, and it's so this, and it's... I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it! You know, I'll go on record, this is my favorite show of all time, and I watched it once when it originally aired, and I watched it for the second time only a few months ago. And boy, oh boy, did I miss it. It's just, I'm in love with it. There are some parts that I think are not so full of love from me, but oh man, and just that, and it brought me way back to when I first watched it and how creepy it was and how, unusual it was to have that on TV, and for it to basically be like some kind of art house film on your television set. Do you know what I mean? Like an independent quirky movie like a 1 hour independent quirky movie every week on your TV.
Yeah.
It was just great. I loved it.
It's funny that you say that because I feel the same exact way as you, and we just watched this last year for the first time, so it's kind of funny. Like I feel that same nostalgia about it.
Yeah, we're just watching it for
it's just been like a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Brad and Caitlin, do you like the creepy dream sequence? You dislike it? That kind of.
Oh, I love it. It's so greatly atmospheric and just out of placely bizarre.
Yeah, I really like the bizarreness. You're just trying to, like, the first time I watched it, I'm like, oh crap, what does all this mean? I'm gonna have to watch this again like 4 times.
The first time I watched it, I was incredibly sleep deprived. And it was like, wait, what's happening? I don't understand at all. I'm gonna have to watch this 5 more times. But I loved it.
That's good.
It worked well. It worked well with my level of confusion.
The actual contents of the dream. Does anyone know what a death bag is?
No, but I want one. I'm gonna go see if they have it on Amazon.ca for my wish list.
Catch you with my death bag.
I'm assuming it's
not the death bag.
What about the what you call it a planet, but I call it a
after
a glider.
Well, after yeah, the shadow that goes across the curtains when the little man is shuffling his hands there on the couch. What did everyone think that was?
I have an idea, but I think it's spoilery, so I won't mention it.
I think it was a shadow.
Well,
yeah, I definitely noticed it, but I didn't really have any ideas about what it might be. It didn't seem too important to me. I don't know, just
that blog that I keep mentioning, they said it was the planet Saturn. I can see that. I don't know if they're correct. But,
to me, it looks like a glider. I don't know.
I don't know what the planet Saturn has to do with anything, but...
it kind of looked square to me. I didn't see that it was round.
Yeah, it did to me too. That's why I thought it looked like more like a glider than a planet, but it was a little bit distorted as well, so...
So you guys understood how that whole scene was filmed, huh?
Yeah.
To get the effect of the speech and stuff?
The backwards talking and then reversing that?
Yes.
That was great.
Doing all their acting and speaking in reverse, then reversing that footage so it comes out.
Well, luckily Cheryl Lee and Kyle MacLachlan didn't have to do any actual reverse acting. They just had to sit there and not move.
She did a little bit.
She did some speech, but she...
Yeah, you're right. She did do some speech.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sometimes my arms bend back.
Yeah. That must have taken...
Creepiest words in the English language still for me. Sometimes my arms bend back. I'm like, what the... what does it mean? And I was in high school at the time, and none of my friends were watching the show, so I couldn't, like... And there was no internets as we know it now.
Yeah.
So there was no outlet for, like, I need to talk to someone about this show.
Aww.
Which is how I feel right now, because I can't look up anything.
I know. Well, it's like with me and Buffy. It's like I see anything about sci-fi or fantasy, I switch off. I don't look at it. I stay away from it.
Don't want to be spoiled on Buffy, huh?
I've already been spoiled on a couple things. I don't want to be spoiled on anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, question. How much of this dream sequence is
significant?
Clearly going to come into play? And how much of this is just atmosphere?
I dropped the word clearly from relating to Twin Peaks. How much of this dream sequence will actually come into play later?
Mm-hmm.
I would say... Is it spoilery to say what percentage will come into play, do you think? Matt?
I don't think so.
I'd venture to say 100%.
I think pretty much everything is either referenced in a significant way or just passively, and everything probably except for the gum comment.
But that may just be something that we didn't catch yet.
Maybe.
I disagree.
Oh, is there a mention of gum later?
I think the gum comment is in fact something that is not dropped.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Everything else I can...
Percent of what you saw in that dream sequence actually comes into play. Maybe the death bag.
Oh, yeah.
Is the one thing, because it still surprises me every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
that's fine.
it's you on the fact that death bag is in fact not gonna
Is
maybe
it-
come back
I
later.
think the death bag does, though. I think it does, but I'm not gonna talk any more about that.
We'll come to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I think I know what you're getting at, but
yeah. Well, wait,
Okay,
we'll
well, I'm
drop
gonna change
it.
the subject.
We'll drop it.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll drop it. I don't want to
Yeah.
like
Do you guys want
get
to
even near feeling about anything, which you know wouldn't be majorly at all. But I totally see what you're getting at. I'm not going to comment in any way, shape, or form that's distinguishable or discernible. But I see your point, and I would maybe concede.
Okay.
I would in fact agree with you. I would agree with you. Yes.
Okay.
You know what? 100% of that dream comes into play.
All right, good job.
Okay.
Okey-doke.
Not at all clearly.
I'm glad we solved that.
Yeah.
I'm getting a feel like for our one-armed man, Mike, and Squirrely Peasant Bob.
Yeah.
I get a feel that to equate to Lost, I feel like we've got like a Man in Black Jacob thing.
I haven't watched Lost.
Who hasn't watched Lost?
Me.
Me.
I think you should watch it.
I know, we know.
We know.
I think you will enjoy it. I think you should wait a few years.
Why is that?
That'd be a good idea,
Because
yeah.
I think it'll be really awesome in a few years. and not this kind of, oh, really? And oh, wow? And uh-huh? And, you know, like, when kind of, you know, like, the fact that you guys are doing this Twin Peaks thing now, I think is perfectly timed because it's been 10 years.
20.
Excuse me, 20 years? Oh, God, I'm so old. This is what David Boreanaz must have felt like when he saw himself in the future. Sorry. But yeah, definitely
Check.
watch Lost at some point. I can totally see what you're saying, Brad. I would not tell you if you are correct or incorrect, but I can understand that you're getting that vibe. Notice, however, that it's episode 3 and not episode last 10th of the season.
Yeah. I'll say this right now about Lost because I do have to get this off my chest. I hope that for some reason I've started screenwriting when they're ready to reboot Lost because I can fix it.
Does anyone want to make any specific guesses about any specific phrases or things that happen, what they could mean?
For some reason, in my notes, I refer to this, that the phrase about the gum coming back into the style was very significant for me. I thought it was some sort of prophetic indication.
About what?
I think it was just sort of to set up, say, this is something he could maybe watch out for to, you know, see that the things they said in the dream are, like, true. It's just a device.
So our one-armed man is named Mike.
Yep.
So we have 2 Mikes now?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Does it say the other character's name, Alirio? I think it does, doesn't it, in this episode?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Which
My name is
character?
Mike. His name
Squirrely.
my name is Mike. His name is Bob.
Yeah, he said his name's Bob.
Yeah. So
Squirrely
there's.
Peasant Bob.
So there.
So in
There's
fact, we have 2 Bobs and 2 Mikes.
Who's the other Bob? Wait.
Bobby.
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 Bobby. And
Oh, that, of course, yeah.
Now, if Bobby was all squirrely peasanty, would you still find him industrious?
Well, Squirrely Peasant Man is my favorite character, so I mean, I have the same love. It's just different. It's transmuted.
Anyone else?
And so they said that Bobby had killed somebody before,
Yeah.
and our Squirrely Peasant Bob has a death bag, and he's gonna kill again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's gonna blow out the worst birthday cake in history.
It's a dirt cake made by
It's like,
children.
sorry, honey, we didn't have enough money from
Surprise.
the farm went under, so here's some candles. Pile of
Pile of
dirt.
dirt on the floor, on the ground. Yeah.
So is everyone I want everyone to have like a creepy, mystical speaking counterpart now. I want there to be an old, unfortunate faced James.
Oh, James.
Oh, James.
Like, watching Twin Peaks ruined James Bond for me. Every time I watch an old James Bond and someone says, "Oh, James," I'm like, "No, no."
I thought the setup of the room and what everybody's wearing was very strange and did not go together at all. You have your zigzag carpet and which doesn't match the red curtains, and you have like these big tall metal lamps, floral chairs, and a really weird tie that Cooper's wearing. I don't know. It really stuck out to me, and I could not figure out if it was supposed to mean something, because it sort of looked like a road or something. But I don't know.
I did a little research, and apparently the inspiration for that entire dream sequence, which was not scripted originally, was David Lynch touched a coffee pot that was hot, and it flashed into his brain.
Oh, I love him.
Oh man.
He designed that zigzaggy floor. Previously, he used it in Dune, and he used it in Eraserhead.
And the first floor that he did, he hand painted it himself. Like he stenciled it, I think, and he did the whole floor himself. So I don't know if he did this.
He's a Renaissance man.
Yes, he is. He does everything.
His art is really quite amazingly weird.
Yeah.
We were just listening to a techno song that he put out recently.
Nice.
I think it's called "It's a Good Day Today."
It's a Good Day Today by David Lynch.
I love it.
Okay.
A lot of it, I think, to me, it seemed like it was just Cooper's mind working out things. Like, he thinks there's a serial killer, so that one guy, Bob, is talking about deathbed and killing again, and that's how it tied into me. And then, I don't remember, I just have these notes written down. There's mention of a magician, and so that makes me think of Dale and how he tries to do things intuitively and through dreams. And, yeah. So it just seems like he's just trying to work out the details in his head, and it's just a really weird thought process.
So you think it all comes from him? It's all internal?
Not entirely. This show is kind of throwing me off, because some of it seems really random. Like, okay, he might be working that in his head, but why do they have names? Why is one guy called Mike and one guy called Bob?
Also, if it's all in his head, how would he know what the one-armed man looks like?
Yes.
Or the guy that Sarah Palmer saw staring at her through the bed frame.
True.
Bob. Yeah.
That's because he's creating it all because he killed her. And he's projecting these things into reality.
In a snow globe?
Definitely.
Or, sorry, a Douglas fir globe?
Has anyone seen the Simpsons parody of this scene?
Yes.
No.
Ages ago.
Nope.
No, you don't.
No, I have not.
You don't. Did you remember the episode Who Shot Mr. Burns?
I don't really watch Simpsons that frequently.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It was a classic. Back then, it was really good. It's been crap for a few years.
This came out at the time when Simpsons was still good, yeah. But they had...
And Conan was writing lots of episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, Chief Wiggum had a dream that parodied this dream. And Lisa was doing the creepy backward speak thing, trying to give him clues about who shot Mr. Burns.
Nice.
And there was also
and he wouldn't get it, so she finally gave up and started speaking forwards.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So she whispers into his ear, and then he wakes up and he knows who killed Laura Palmer. Do you think it's that simple?
And his cowlick is glorious.
He sleeps with that crap in his hair. He must be a morning shower person.
It's not the most of the world a morning showering person. Everybody I know showers in the morning.
Yeah, usually, but...
I think it depends on what you do. I know my brother-in-law who's in construction, he showers in the evening.
Oh,
why,
yeah.
why shower in the morning if you're just going to get all dirty during the day?
But you would think at least he'd wash that out of his hair before laying on his pillow. And then maybe take another shower in the morning, I don't know.
You can shower as much as you like.
Every day. Does he care? He's living it up. The Great Northern.
So in the dream, right before Laura is whispering in his ears, they have that little kiss. That was a little weird and disturbing, but to me that seemed just how intense this case is in how obsessed not obsessed, but like how much of his mind is set on like thinking about Laura Palmer and the death.
So, do you think it's that simple? Does he know who killed Laura Palmer now?
No. Gosh. He probably sort of has a concept or has like a good clue, but not even close probably.
I like to think that he does, but after his antics yesterday with the whole throwing the rocks, no one's really going to take him seriously about anything again.
He's going to be like Quincy. At the beginning of every episode of Quincy, nobody believes his cockamamie theories, and then at the end, he was right. And something crazy happens in between the end of one episode and the beginning of the next when he loses all credibility, because at the beginning of the next episode, it's all cockamamie theories again.
That's gonna happen, but spread over the entire series.
Yeah. It's like, why is everyone scared of Casper at the beginning of the next episode?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Everybody finds out he's a friendly ghost, they all love him, and then all of a sudden they hate him again. Sorry, I digress.
This episode ends just like the last episode. In the last one, we have Dr. Creepy listening to the tapes, and then he puts on the headphones right before you hear anything useful. And then this one, she whispers into his ear.
For a long time, was she giving him directions?
All right, I was murdered. This is who did it. Here's where you can find them.
Maybe she's one of these people that can't get to the point. They have to tell the long version of the story about anything they ever say.
Well,
So he's like sitting there going, get to it, just tell me.
there was a lot of Norwegian names she had to go through.
The Norwegians.
Who's your number one suspect at the moment, Brad and Caitlin? I think I'm going to start asking this every episode and see if it changes episode to episode.
It's hard for me to... I don't like forming an opinion about such things unless I'm sure, so I'm just going to pick who's at the top of my not like list right now, and that'd be Mr. Horn.
Okay.
He's just a completely self-centered guy, and he'd probably do anything to save face. And if Laura found out something about him or was going to blackmail him, he'd kill her, no problem.
Okay, what about you, Brad?
I would say I think Leo's too easy.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Tommy Hawk.
Do you remember who you had when you originally watched it, Alirio?
No, I don't.
No. Me neither. It was just last year.
One thing I wanted to note, when Bobby was talking to Leo, and they're talking, he's like, she's a wild girl, and Leo's like, you don't know just how wild. What exactly was Laura doing with Leo besides the cocaine?
Oh, wait, and then, one of my favorite parts, Bobby goes, yeah, tell me about it, in that expression. Leo goes, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, maybe one day I'll tell you about how wild your girlfriend was.
It's kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Even more awkward considering the fact that she's dead of like 2 days.
Yeah.
For the backwards talking thing, Michael J. Anderson, who was the little person, he actually had previous experience. Somebody taught him how to speak backwards. Like he can write a sentence out and then think about how it's spoken backwards. So he taught anyone who needed to, how to speak backwards. He kind of tutored them on it. You guys come prepared with ratings?
Thank you. I will give this episode of Twin Peaks an 8 out of 10 kitchen mittens.
Really? Only 8?
I am viewing this series with hindsight.
Okay.
And I'm grading on a curve.
Oh, okay.
I will give this one a 9 greasy cotton balls out of 10.
Nice. A 9 silent greasy cotton balls out of 10?
Yes.
You're gonna be so rich.
I think I would have to go 8 out of 10 death bags. Because the end was amazing, but beyond that, I'm not too sure.
I'm going to give it 10 out of 10 outdated packs of gum.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was just gonna say. I was gonna say like approximately 9.5 to 10
Packs of gum.
packs of gum that you like that's gonna come back in style.
Anyone have any quotes? Again, we're stealing all of this from Alirio's podcast, The Potentialcast, which is a Buffy podcast, and it's very good. If you've never seen Buffy, you should watch along with them. Anyone have quotes?
I didn't want to get mink oil on my bedspread.
Oh, I've got one to go with that. You've got mink oil on your head.
Oh
What
man,
a comeback!
we should have got you guys to do that whole scene, playing each of the characters.
Someone print a transcript.
Yeah.
And now a special reproduction.
I'm gonna go with You punks owe me 10 grand. Leo needs a new pair of shoes.
I like that one.
You got one?
I have a few. Well, I don't want to take any quotes from anybody because I
everyone's
have
already
a bunch.
done theirs.
Is everybody?
Well, I haven't done mine, so I might as well go.
Oh yeah.
No, you go first.
It's I'm depressed.
I'm depressed. Yeah, that's kind of funny how Laura's death was almost an afterthought for him.
I like Nadine. Ed!
Just screaming his name.
Just always screaming.
Oh, I've got another one here. Invitation to love. Every day brings a new beginning, and every hour holds a promise of an invitation to love. I want to watch that show.
It kind of sounds like Paul Harvey. Now you know the rest of the story.
Would you please put on the kitchen mittens? Anyway, let's go.
What a jerk. He won't even, bend down to pick up rocks. He's making the Native American hold them for him. Big city racist. Oh, and please don't contaminate the rocks with your Indian hands. Wear these kitchen mittens, please. Just awful. Awful. David Lynch, you're a racist.
I have, Now I had a problem with a fish. It took a liking to my percolator.
Weirdo.
I love him. And I like Harry too. Cooper, tell me, the idea for this? Did it really come to you in a dream? Yes, Harry, it did.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright.
So weird seeing Michael Onkeen not on skates.
Where have you seen him on skates?
Slapshot.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I read that on his IMDb, but I've never seen that movie.
I don't remember that.
Oh, haven't seen Slapshot? It is hilarious.
I saw
It's
it
a great
10 years ago. Yeah, it is pretty funny.
I saw Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to see some.
The Disneyfication of anything is bad enough. The Disneyfication of hockey made me cry.
Do you guys want to go to feedback? I'll read some feedback.
Feedback!
Okay, so Paul Mackey sent us one. Has he been on your podcast?
I don't believe he's been on, but he's in the Facebook group and he comments and he's awesome.
Yeah. He said, I just wanted to tell you your show is fantastic. I applaud your appropriation of the proven Potentialcast model. Twin Peaks was a landmark show. It is especially interesting for me to listen to your show considering Twin Peaks was the show that introduced me to internet fandom. When I was in my first year at Montana State University, I would spend time in the dorm computer lab reading posts on the alt.tv.Twin Peaks usernet group. Some additional trivia you may have been saving for later shows, but I'll mention it here. Richard Bamer, who plays Ben Horn, was first seen as Tony in the movie musical West Side Story.
Yeah.
Russ Tamblyn, who plays Dr. Jacoby, was his co-star in West Side Story, playing Riff, the leader of the Jets. Russ Tamblyn is also the father of actress Amber Tamblyn, and he appeared a few times to perform with her on her show Joan of Arcadia. There are numerous other bits of interesting cast trivia, which I hope you'll be able to get to during the course of your show. I'll try to email again in the future and possibly to discuss some of the various tie-in media. Keep up the great show, Paul Mackey. Thanks, Paul. Definitely keep sending me trivia.
That's good. I like it when you guys bring up the trivia,
Yeah.
whether it's our feedback from the user or the listeners or for you. Because I was wondering about like Russ and Amber Tamblyn, but for some reason I just really apprehensive about Googling anything at all to do with the show.
That's a very good thing that you've decided.
Brad D on the Twin Peaks cast Twitter says, "Is the killer's name on the chalkboard?"
No. It's
No.
a 50-50 shot.
It's like that rock throwing thing. It's 50-50.
No, like the flipping a coin to see who's going to get the new girl.
Ooh.
Okay, Joe Royster on the Facebook said, "Just finished episode 2. Loving this podcast. Trivia is great. Cool you're incorporating Facebook. Sounds good and it doesn't come off amateur at all. Just enjoyable. Cannot wait to hear some theories as things unfold."
Do you want me to take turns?
Yeah, you can do this one.
Yeah. Okay, Scott Schneider from Facebook. Okay, 2 questions for the troopers. Who do you think the ominous person in the shadows when Leo attempts to collect for the drugs?
I think we already talked about that one. So
Yeah, we
skip
did.
it.
Yeah, and number 2, I believe this is the first time Fire Walk With Me is spoken aside from the European pilot. What do you think it means? I have to admit this was not one of my favorite episodes, even though Lynch directed it. Just a little trivia. The famous photograph is not actually the actress Cheryl Lee. She confirmed that in a documentary. And Jennifer Lynch wrote the autobiography, so I hope the person who wrote it has seen the show.
Well, he's talking about Laura Palmer's diary that was written by David Lynch's daughter, Jennifer Lynch. And about the photo, he's talking about the grad photo. I was reading some trivia, and I mentioned in our first episode that that's her real graduation photo, but apparently it was staged. It's still her, but it's a staged photograph, so it's not her real.
Oh, okay.
He linked.
I thought he was saying that it was someone else.
That's what he wrote, but that's not what he wrote. That it's not actually Cheryl Lee, and then he linked to a video where she says it, but she didn't say that. She said it is her, but it was a staged photo.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to read the next one too? I'm having a hard time, but.
Okay, go ahead.
Have me read one. Tell me where to look.
Actually,
I'll send it to you with my mind.
I'll send
my telepathy powers.
I'll send it to you on the. Are you on Facebook right now?
I'm always on the Facebook.
Read this one.
It's the one from Kimberly Fowler.
Is that your co-host?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is.
That's how appropriate.
So this is quite fitting. Some person named Kimberly Fowler, wink wink, writes, I watched the first episode today. Interesting. I need to catch up to the rest of you. Why is everyone so weird?
Good impression.
I guess Kimberly doesn't know much of David Lynch's work.
No, I guess not.
Because it's old hat.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of it. I'd like to appeal for some episode-specific feedback for next time, because I don't feel that I ask very interesting questions to the first-time viewers here. I never know what to ask them. So if anyone has anything you want to say about episode 4? Anything specific you want to say about it, or ask our first-time viewers, Brad and Caitlin, please send it.
I have a question for Brad and Caitlin.
For now or for next time?
For right now.
Okay.
Caitlin mentioned, she wasn't sure if this was getting into the supernatural. What are your thoughts on this show potentially getting into supernatural stuff? Are you reticent? Would you embrace it? What are your thoughts on this leaving crime and going into weirdness, or staying in crime and just kind of looking cursorily at weirdness and supernatural? What are your thoughts on the potential for this going in a supernatural direction? Can I say supernatural just one more time?
No.
Please.
Supernatural.
Yeah. Well, I think my issue is that most shows these days are either completely supernatural or not. But I like it. I like how I think that they're going to go, mainly focus on the crime, but there'll just be like a tinge of it on the side, maybe. And it's kind of refreshing, because you don't really see any shows like that. It's pretty real, and the murder is pretty visceral, and things are nitty-gritty in the town with all the relationships and stuff, but then you just throw in as an extra element, just like a tool that Cooper is going to be using to help solve the crime.
I would agree with that. I would like any way they go, as long as it works and it's structured well, I'm completely down. But I think it would be fun to see if it remains kind of just off to the side.
So you guys,
whatever's clever is totally whatever.
That was pretty clever. All right, so I guess that's it. Do you want to plug your podcast, Alirio?
I'm currently, quite frequently, once a week on Potentialcast, which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast where 3 of us have never watched the series before, and one of us has. I am one of the Potentials, one of the ones who has not, in fact, watched the series before. So we're avoiding Buffy spoilers at all costs, and we are, in fact, enjoying the ride tremendously. We're up to the first third of the 3rd season, and we're enjoying every minute of it. Come on over, check us out, potentialcast.com.
Do it. We're going to go watch episode 4, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Oh, we should... No,
Bye-bye.
wait.
What?
We should snap our fingers.
Snap our fingers?
In unison.
It's hard to do it in unison over Skype. Bye, everyone.
Bye. We suck.
Little sonic screwdriver action.
Aha! I knew it was a sonic screwdriver.
Thanks for listening. Check us out on twitter.com/TwinPeaksCast. Search for the Twin Peaks Podcast group on Facebook, and visit us on twinpeakspodcast.blogspot.com. Email us your feedback at twinpeakspodcast@gmail.com.
Here's a tune for you guys. Okay. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.